Hello everybody. What we're going to be doing tonight is our ball evolutions for ball pit tier list. So I'm just going to be doing the base evolutions that you can make with 2 balls. As you can see, I have my ball pit open because I have the encyclopedia open in case I wanted to read what the balls do to you. So yeah, let's see here. We're going to start off. I went ahead and I had to pull all this art myself. There wasn't already there was one up there. There was one on Tier Maker that had like half of the evolutions, but it didn't have most of them. So I wasn't gonna. This has everyone but the super evolutions. So I'm not gonna rank like Black Hole, or Nuclear Bomb, or Satan, or Nosferatu. So yeah, we're just gonna go with the straight up 2 ball evolutions. We're going to go on a tiers from S to D. I'm just going to be ranking them on how effective they are as themselves. I mean, obviously, I think all of these can be used if you're evolving them with another evolution, or if you are, fusing them with something. I think they can all be useful. If you take it a step further, but we're gonna be ranking these off of how useful they are, just as a 2 ball evolution. Because I think a lot of the times, especially if you're on like fast 9, you're gonna want them to be immediately impactful. You're not gonna want to make a ball and then have to sit there and wait for it to be good. And a lot of these, like, you're gonna have weaker. If a lot of the character combinations, you're gonna have at least one weak ball to start off with, so you're not gonna want to wait any longer to have to evolve an evolution or fuse an evolution to make it any stronger than it already is afterwards. I mean, obviously, it's cool if you can do that, but you want the ball to be able to like provide you with some impact immediately. So let's just get started here. This is Assassin. Passes through the front of enemies, but not the back. Backstab deals 30% bonus damage. Yeah, I've never been able to make really any use of this. In theory, it's cool, but it doesn't apply any on-hit status or anything. It doesn't really do that much damage. I haven't found it to do that much damage. And if you don't have pass through to make it come back to you, it just gets stuck in the back, and one of your balls is just stuck back there doing nothing basically. So yeah, if you evolve it, you lose 2 of your balls that are just gonna be stuck in the back. It could cause problems immediately for you. We're just gonna drop this in D tier. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. The next ball we're going to look over is Berserk. Each hit has a 30% chance of causing enemies to go berserk for 6 seconds. Berserk enemies deal 15 to 24 damage to adjacent enemies every second. I think this is good. I've never, like... It doesn't seem to do a ton of damage. Like, I've never had this ball be, like, super amazing. And like I said, I don't even know how the things keep track of damage. So when it's telling me the damage that the ball does... in the screen at the end, I'm not even 100% certain if it's actually tracking the damage that the ball is making the things do when it curses. I'm assuming it is. I'm going to go with the assumption that it is. So we're just going to go ahead and we're going to drop this right in B tier. It does 30% is a pretty good chance for it to do what it says it's going to do. So I mean that's not that's pretty high compared to a lot of things. There's like some of the freeze balls which are like really low. It's like 8% or whatever the really low percentage to do what they're supposed to do, which is not good. So the next ball we're going to rank is Blizzard. Freeze all enemies within a 2-tile radius for 0.8 seconds, dealing 1 to 50 damage. This is really strong as is. And if you use an item or something to give it pass through, all of a sudden it's S tier. I don't think it's S tier on its own. I do think it's like pretty solid though. I am going to drop this in A tier. So we'll go ahead and just drop this in A tier. It is very good. It definitely can buy you a lot of time, slowing down everything in the front line, pushing things back behind it. You get a good amount of slow from it. It's pretty solid that way. The next ball is Bomb. Bomb explodes when hitting an enemy, dealing 150 to 300 damage to nearby enemies. Has a 3-second cooldown before it can be shot again. Without taking this, without doing anything else with the bomb. Now, obviously, if you fuse it with poison and make a nuclear bomb, or if you just fuse it with dark, it's super good. You can fuse it with the shotgun. It's probably really good. Anything that makes baby balls out, like egg sac or voluptuous egg sac or brood mother, I think all that stuff's probably fine. But on its own, without doing anything further, it's a D tier in my opinion. It's like you shoot it out, it goes, and then you're just waiting for 3 seconds before it can do anything again. And it doesn't really do that much damage. I think, we'll check out dark when we get to it. I think it might not. It probably barely does more damage than dark. If it does even more damage than dark, and it's a fusion, or I mean it's an evolution, so you want it to do more than that for sure. The next ball is Flash. Damage all enemies on screen for 1 to 3 damage after hitting an enemy and blind them for 2 seconds. If this just did the damage part of it, it would be pretty poopy. But the fact that it's blinding, blinding them for 2 seconds is pretty amazing because it's hitting the entire screen. And having so there's things you compare with that to gain crit, obviously. And then obviously if you're going to evolve this further, which if you're going to evolve this further, you can do really, really gross things. But like I said, we're just going to drop this in A tier because I'm going to drop it right there. Because on its own, it's good, but it's not S tier without. It's not S tier amongst these balls, in my opinion, without doing anything further with it. Like I said, you can do you can do things with it that are extremely gross and broken beyond the first evolution, but that's not what we're ranking here. So, Flicker deals 1 to 7 damage to every enemy on screen every 1.4 seconds. So, like, if you can get this trapped back somewhere, and have just been bouncing around, it does do a good amount of damage, but it doesn't apply. It does not apply blind, so. Let's see, 1 second. Yeah, it does not apply blind, so it's not as good as the prior ball. Like I said, you can also do pretty gross things with this too. There's like whatever you want to fuse it with. And since it doesn't apply any kind of status on its own, we're just going to drop it right here in C tier. It's not really doing anything for you on hit. It's doing a minor amount of damage to the whole screen. So like if you get trapped somewhere, it's probably fine. But like I said, you're gonna want to fuse. You're gonna want to fuse this with something else to really make it do some really, really cool stuff. Next, Freeze Ray. Emit a freezing ray when hitting an enemy, dealing 20 to 50 damage to all enemies in its path, with a 10% chance of freezing them for 10 seconds. The 10% is still so low, and the damage on hit is okay. So, for an evolution, I think this is extraordinarily weak. I'm just going to drop this right in D tier, between the bomb and the assassin. I will say flavor-wise, the assassin is maybe a S tier. It's pretty sweet. I do like that ninja star being the assassin, backstabbing. That's pretty awesome. But that doesn't really do enough for you. If you're evolving a laser ball and a freeze ball or whatever, so it's just not enough. You need to get more out of it than that. Frozen Flame. Add 1 stack of Frostburn on hit for 20 seconds. Max 4 stacks. Frostburn units are dealt 8 to 12 damage per stack. Or sorry, yes, 8 to 12 damage per stack per second. So if you get a bunch of and receive 25% more damage from other sources, this is obviously better than like D or C. I'm gonna drop this in B. This is like S tier if you give it pass through and all that fun jazz. So there's my dog. Every time I do a tier list, she all of a sudden decides she has to talk. So you probably heard that. I don't know if you did or not, but anyway. So we're gonna drop the Frozen Flame in B tier, right in front of Berserk. Next is going to be Glacier. Releases glacial spikes over time that deal 15 to 30 damage to enemies that touch them and freeze them for 2 seconds. This ball and its glacial spikes also deal 6 to 12 damage to nearby units. This ball is very good. I'm gonna drop it like right here. I think it's A tier. I don't think it's S tier. Um, yeah, I mean it's really good. Like those glacial spikes, you destroy them if you like run into them or shoot them or whatever. But if they make it up to the enemy, they do some pretty good damage, which is pretty cool. I do like. I'll take this for sure. It's my third favorite out of the probably actually fourth favorite out of what you can evolve Earthquake into, but it's still pretty good. All the Earthquake evolutions are top notch, very good. So let's see here. Next, we're going to do Hemorrhage. Inflicts 3 stacks of bleed when hitting an enemy with 12 stacks of bleed or more. Consume all stacks of bleed to deal 20% of the current health. Sorry, 1 second. Yeah, this just doesn't do enough. Yeah, it's poopy. We're gonna, like I said, if you can do this is pretty good if you give it pass through, but so is everything on here. So we're just we're gonna drop it in D. Its single target damage is okay. If you can just like rapidly bounce it off one thing, but yeah, like that it's not good enough in my opinion for an evolution. Next is Holy Laser. Deal 24 to 36 damage to all enemies in the same row and column. So this obviously is probably the most broken ball in the game. If you just fuse it with anything else on here, but it's still actually really good without fusing it with something else on here. You just gotta have some intent with where you aim it, so you can get it. Not just pinging it off the front row, but you can get it around the side and have it like ricochet and get to the back a little bit. This will do heavy damage. So we will go ahead and drop this. Probably just like right here, probably A tier. That's very good. You can get some heavy damage with it without being silly and having to fuse. I mean, obviously everything on this list you're gonna fuse as you go along and around. I'm just saying, like you said, I'm rating their ability to be good immediately upon getting them from 2 balls, because you need when you're going at 9 plus speed, especially on the New Game Plus, you need whatever you're making to immediately impact the board. So you can't just be like, oh well, this is going to be good in 2 minutes when I'm dead. You know what I mean? So if you're using 2 of your balls, you need it to, especially if you're using one of the characters combinations that is not going to have baby balls, you really need the ball you make to evolve into to have immediate impact. Next is Incubus. Each hit has a 4% chance of charming the enemy for 9 seconds. Charmed enemies, cursed nearby enemies. Cursed enemies are dealt 1 to 200 damage after being hit 5 times. So the 4% is so low. Yeah, I mean, like obviously if it works, it's going to be super good. Like 9 seconds is a long time to have a status effect go on something, but I just never. It doesn't seem to proc for me, and it's cool that you can make Satan with this. But yeah, we're just going to drop this probably right here in C tier. That's just not enough of a percentage chance to do what you need it to do. Next is going to be Inferno. Applies 1 stack of burn every second to all enemies within a 2-tile radius. Burn lasts for 6 seconds, dealing 3 to 7 damage per second per stack. So, you're using 2 pretty strong balls to do this, wind and fire. So, and it doesn't pass through. You lose the pass through of wind. You lose the slow from wind. It's not. Yeah, without giving this thing some more kind of buff or something, in my opinion, it's gonna be probably like C tier right here. It's not as bad as everything I have below it, but in my opinion, but it's not very good. At least like the above row does something immediately, and like the debuff that you get on Frozen Flame, pretty gnarly, really good. So it's Laser Beam. Emit a laser beam on hit deals 30 to 42 damage and blinds enemies for 8 seconds. It seems like this thing just goes in a random direction, I think. It doesn't really seem to. I never really know what it's really doing. The blind is cool, but you're fusing it with a ball that already blinds things. And you also feels like it with a laser that could probably be used to do something better. I think this is okay. 8-second blind is a long blind. 30 to 42 damage in the line of laser is not really that. It's not insignificant. We are just going to drop this probably like right here, the bottom, at the top of C tier. I try not to take this, honestly. It seems fine. I just looked at it. I guess I've had it a bunch of times. But, and my dog's barking a lot. Hey, sorry. Next is Leech. Attaches up to 1 Leech onto enemies it hits, which adds 2 stacks of bleed per second. I guess it just stays on there till it dies. It's really good. It's really good single target damage, obviously. It's not going to do you a lot of good as far as like AoE or anything goes, but like if you can throw that on the boss, it's really good. So I think we are going to drop that probably like in the middle of B. I don't take it a lot. My dog's right here. Murphy, you got to be quiet. Okay, I'm trying to do something. I try not to take this one too. It's not it's not a priority or anything. I will take it if like, especially if I have pass through, I'll definitely take it. Look, like I said, I think everything on here is okay if you have pass through. There's nothing on here that's complete garbo. Some of the stuff doesn't change if you have pass through, like things that explode don't change with pass through. But anyway, yeah. So next is Lightning Rod. Plants a lightning rod into enemies it hits. Those enemies are struck by lightning every 3 seconds, dealing 1 to 30 damage up to 8 nearby enemies. This is pretty good. Does a lot of damage. If you have pass through, it does a lot of damage. So we are going to rank this pretty high, I think. We will go ahead and just drop this at the bottom of A tier. Probably actually like right here, in the middle of A tier, to be honest with you. At least the middle so far. It does really good damage. 1 to 30 damage isn't really good, but the fact that it just keeps doing it over time. If you're not on a really fast speed, you can get some good damage out of it. I think at a much higher speed, it's not going to do as much damage, but it is pretty good AoE. 8 nearby enemies. And if you're getting, just say you're getting median rolls on it, so just like say your average 15. Or 15 and a half, or whatever the average would be. Yeah, it's gonna be times 8. That's a bunch of damage to the field. You definitely, like I said, it's not nothing to sneeze at. I might drop it down a little bit though. I didn't realize that it was that low when I was thinking about it. It's 1 to 30 damage. Let's drop it at the top of B. It seems pretty good still though. It's not one that I try not to take the steel ball very often. So, I mean, obviously you start off with the steel ball on some pretty good characters. So, I do have the steel ball quite, a decent amount, despite not wanting to take it when it's offered to me in most situations. I mean, sometimes I do set out just trying to make the bomb or trying to make the nuclear bomb. I mean, which is because those are just really fun runs, in my opinion. Or you get the bomb plus dark is really fun too. That does actually more damage than the nuke. The next ball is Love Struck. Inflicts Love Struck on hit enemies for 20 seconds. Love Struck units have a 50% chance of healing you for 5 health when they attack. So, 20 seconds is a long time. But the fact that it just gives it a 50... Like, you're not trying to get hit by things. So I think, like, this could just, every once in a great while, give you some value. So I do think we're just going to go ahead and drop it at the bottom of B tier. Like I said, all this, like... For being, it's not going to impact the run immediately when you make it. So, it's definitely not A or S, and I don't think it's even near the top of B, but I think it's better than the stuff that I have in C tier, for example. Okay, the next is Maggot. Infest enemies on hit with maggots. When they die, they explode into 1 to 2 baby balls, which I think goes up as you level the ball up. But I think this is fine, even without doing anything more to it. But it's like, this is literally, along with Cell, like one of the most broken things you can merge things with. So I think I have to take that into consideration, just because it's not like a specific merge. This can just get slapped with anything, I think, and be really good. And I think it's good enough on its own that we're just going to go ahead and drop it at the bottom of A. It's not unimpactful, but it's not something you're gonna want to take if you're in trouble immediately. If you probably do want to have time to evolve it, but it's not awful. Like, it's not something you're gonna avoid taking, in my opinion. You could probably take it on most runs, and then just hope that you can evolve it into something later, because I think it'll mostly kind of hold its own weight up until then. Next is Magma, my favorite. Probably one of my favorite just straight up evolutions that doesn't. It's super strong without being evolved with anything. Emits lava blobs over time. Enemies who walk into lava blobs are dealt 15 to 30 damage and gain 1 stack of burn. Burn lasts for 3 seconds, dealing 3 to 8 damage per second. This ball and its lava blobs also deals 6 to 12. So, yeah, it's really good AoE. We're going to drop this in S. It's very good. You have there's items you can definitely take with this, like things that increase your AoE size, things that obviously Midnight Oil to spread the burn around even more. It's really, really, really good. I think that's self-explanatory. Next is Mosquito King. Spawns a mosquito each time it hits an enemy. Mosquitoes attack a random enemy, dealing 80 to 120 damage each. If Mosquito kills an enemy, they steal 1 health. So that 80 to 120 damage is actually pretty good damage. So, and if you just bounce it around off a bunch of things, you're gonna get a lot of mosquitoes. And the stealing health thing can be really good. And there's obviously items that you can take to improve the quality of gaining life and how much gaining life will be beneficial to you. But I do think that this is probably down here, probably like as far as like how much it holds its own weight, we're gonna drop it like right above Maggot. It's definitely better than Maggot without doing anything further. Next is Mosquito Swarm. Explodes into 3 to 6 mosquitoes. Mosquitoes attack random enemies, dealing 80 to 120 damage each. If a mosquito kills an enemy, they steal 1 health. This is much worse. Although if you get 3, let's think about that, and you get the low roll, it's 240 damage. If you get 6 and get the high roll, that's a lot of damage. It's like more than bomb in that situation, and it can heal you. So we're gonna go ahead and just drop it like right in here somewhere in B tier. It's like fine. I don't think you avoid taking it because it's just a vampire and an egg sac. Which if you're not doing anything else with them, it's better than having a vampire ball and an egg sac. Probably, I think, definitely. So you're not gonna. It's not gonna hurt you to take that. Like you're never gonna take. Like you're not gonna turn those 2 balls into that and be like, oh man, I got a lot weaker. I don't think that'll happen anyway. So we're just gonna go ahead and drop it right there. Next is Noxious. Passes through enemies and applies 3 stacks of poison to nearby enemies within a 2-tile radius. Poison lasts for 4 seconds, and each stack deals 1 to 3 damage per second. So that's Noxious is actually really good. We are going to drop that at the top of A tier. As far as like the pass through is so good, obviously. The fact that it passes through without having to take other items, you can get a lot of damage on the whole screen with this. There's that new item where you can make zombies with your poison, so there's some good benefit to this, and it's definitely AOE. So you a 2-tile radius, so you can take the mage staff to increase this. Next is Overgrowth. Let's go ahead and see. I'll go ahead and read that to you here. Applies 1 stack of Overgrowth. Upon reaching 3, consume all stacks and deal 150 to 200 damage to all enemies in a 3x3 tile square. That's a big area. And so, like, I mean, obviously this does the most broken thing in the game if you fuse it with Maggot. That's really cool. We're not taking that into consideration here, but I do think that this is definitely, like, this is going to be at the top of H here, probably, like, right in front of Glacier. Actually, we're gonna drop this. We're gonna drop this behind Glacier. It doesn't do the blob thing, so in my opinion, it doesn't. It's not as beneficial to you on like Fast 9 or anything like that. But it's good damage in a good area. It's really good AOE. Next ball is Phantom. Cursed enemies on hit. Cursed enemies are dealt 1 to 200 damage after being hit 5 times. This is so good with baby balls, and it has pass through. At least I think it does. I'm pretty sure it does. It doesn't say that it does on the screen, but I'm 99% certain it does. It's fused with Ghost, so I mean, you think it would say that it does that, but I'm pretty sure it does. Yeah, I've taken this, I think, with... I'm just going to assume it has passed through, because I know it passes through stuff. I've been playing so much of the combination of the Embedded and the Repentant that it's making me double, you know, yeah, whatever. So this is really super good. Obviously, like with just baby balls, you're just gonna be constantly proccing the curse that this has. I'm gonna drop this at the top of A tier. Actually, no. We're gonna put this in S, right behind Magma. It's really, really, really good, and you're getting rid of Dark and Ghost, and the Ghost is pretty useless until you fuse it. So you want to fuse Ghost as fast as you can, and that just makes a really, really, really high damage ball off of Ghost. So I think this is one of the higher damage one evolved ball combos. It might be the highest damage one without having to merge it with anything else. I don't think it is, but it's definitely really strong. Next, Radiation Beam. Emit a Radiation Beam on hit deals 24 to 48 damage. Is applied 1 stack radiation, max 5 stacks. Radiation lasts for 15 seconds and causes enemies to be 10% more damage from all sources per stack. This is definitely better than the Freeze Ray. It doesn't have like a weird percent chance to do its thing. It just does it, and it debuffs things that take more damage. So we're definitely not going to drop this. I think we're just going to go ahead and drop this like in the middle. It's also really pretty, which I'm not taking into consideration, but we'll just drop it like right in the middle of B. It's solid. The debuff is really good. The damage on it's not inconsequential, 24 to 48 damage. That's pretty good. Next is Sacrifice. Inflicts 4 stacks of bleed, max 15 stacks, and applies curses to hit enemies. Cursed enemies are dealt 50 to 100 damage after being hit 5 times. This is like super good, just single target damage. But I mean, if you get this bouncing around and apply curse and bleed to like a bunch of things, and you have lots of baby balls bouncing around, you're going to do a crazy amount of damage to things. But you do have to make sure. Obviously, if you give this pass through, it's absurd. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and just drop this like right in here somewhere as far as A tier goes. You do want it to. Again, I think it's very similar to the laser when it's by itself. You need to get it bouncing around a lot to be super effective. But if you can get it like wedged up in the side and get it ricocheting off stuff, it's going to be really, really effective for it. Next is Sandstorm. Goes through enemies and is surrounded by a raging storm, dealing 10 to 20 damage per second and blinding nearby enemies for 3 seconds. The 3-second blind is solid. The damage from this is really good. It has pass through, so it's just going to do good damage no matter what. I think we're just going to go ahead and drop this like right behind Noxious, right in front of Glacier. Just really, really good. Next is Shotgun. Deal 3 to 7 iron baby balls. Shoots 3 to 7 iron baby balls after hitting a wall. Iron baby balls move at 200% speed, but are destroyed upon hitting anything. So you just need to bounce this off of walls, and then it shoots lots of baby balls up. But the baby balls don't do anything on their own. So this is one of those ones you need to fuse it. Once you fuse it, it's absurd. But you're not really going to get too much value out of this without fusing it. So we are just going to go ahead and drop it probably like right in here. It doesn't really do much for you. It's better than the Freeze Ray and the Assassin, but it's not going to do anything for you outside of that. Next is Soul Sucker. I saw a website earlier that kept calling this ball Wraith, saying Wraith heals you and blah, 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 blah. Passes through enemies and saps them with a 30% chance of stealing 1 health and reducing their attack damage by 20%. Lifesteal chance only applies once per enemy. So the fact that the sap stays there and just reduces everything's damages for the rest of the time it's on the board is really, really good. You're going to get lifesteal off of it, because you're going to probably end up stealing a life from everything before, unless you're on like fast 9 or something where the balls are coming at you really fast. Or the enemies, I mean. You're going to be able to, because this passes through things, you're going to be able to bounce it around and hit things multiple times and probably get this to proc. So you do get lots of healing off of this. It's really effective with like the items that benefit from you healing, or like the where you shoot balls out for healing, or if you can overheal, things like that. So we are going to put this up pretty high. I don't think it's S tier by any means, but we'll put it like right here. It's better than the stuff behind it without having to fuse it with anything else, I think. Next is Spider Queen. Has a 25% chance of emitting an egg sac each time it hits an enemy. This is just like an upgraded version of the 2 balls that you're making it with, so I mean it's obviously very good. If you're going for a baby ball build, it's really solid. Other than that, you probably are not going to be taking it, or unless you're just trying to get like fused and make the vampire the big evolution. So I don't know. We'll go ahead and just drop it like down in. Oh no, it's probably. We'll drop it right ahead of Mosquito King. I think it does do more than that ball does overall. So you can just keep bouncing it off stuff, and if every time it makes an egg sac, you're getting a ton of value, which is really cool. Next is Storm. Emits lightning to strike nearby enemies every second, dealing 1 to 40 damage. This is a lot of AoE damage. So yeah, look, this is another one that doesn't say that it passes through, but it definitely does. So I'm gonna drop this in S tier as far as like a single ball evolution goes. We'll go like this. Ball evolution. All right, it's just really good AoE. Has pass through. Does a ton of damage. Succubus. Each time it has a 4% chance of charming the enemy for 9 seconds. Heals for 1. Like you have a 4% chance to charm them, and then if you do, then if you can hit them again with this within 9 seconds, you'll heal 1. It's just really bad. So we're just gonna put this like down here. It's not very good. It's just gonna do more than a lot of things by itself, I think. Than like the things below it. I mean, not a lot of things. It's gonna do more than Bomb or Hemorrhage or Shotgun without further evolving it, but it's not that great. Next is Sun. Blind all enemies in view and add 1 stack of burn every second. Max 5 stacks. Burn lasts for 6 seconds. So it's gonna be a minimum of 30, upwards of 72 damage per second. No, wait, no, per total. For each stack. So, and the blind obviously is really good. You can you can like there's items that help you when you like give them crit. You can get crit to hit blind enemies with and things like that. So this is just really good damage, and then just it has utility. So works with Midnight Oil, works with like I said, the thing that helps you with blinded enemies. Helps you crit blinded enemies. So we're just going to go ahead, I think, single ball evolutions. And we're going to go put this here. Next is Swamp. Leaves behind tar blobs over time. Enemies who walk into tar blobs are dealt 15 to 30 damage, are slowed by 50% for 7 seconds, and gain 1 stack of poison, max 8 stacks. You stack of poison. The damage from the poison's whatever. But this ball is targeted to 6 to 12 damage to nearby units. It is AoE. But more than anything, it's just slow. It slows lots of things. The slow is incredible. The damage from this is incredible if you give it pass through. Like everything on the list, like I said. But so we are going to go ahead and just drop this like right, probably the bottom of S tier. But it is really, really good. The slow on it is probably more consequential than the Sun. Here we go. So it's slowed by 50% for 7 seconds is a really long slow. So that's really solid there. Next going to be Vampire Lord. Each hit inflicts 3 stacks of bleed, heals 1 health, and consumes all stacks when hitting an enemy with at least 10 stacks of bleed. If you're bouncing this off of something, over and over and over again. Like, yeah, I don't even know, because that's just gonna heal you a little bit. Yeah, this is okay. Like, having the bleed. Like I said, if you give this thing like again, giving this pass through is really good, but it is part of like an evolution to get the Nosferatu. But like by itself, it doesn't seem super consequential. We'll just probably just we're gonna go ahead and just drop it like above the Leech down here in B tier. Like it's probably fine. You're not gonna be like, oh no, I don't want this again, because you're just gonna be turning a bleed ball, and I don't know if you want to waste a dark ball to do this. That seems like probably bad. This dark ball you can just slam into stuff for like pretty okay damage, pretty okay, just like AoE burst. You can do better things with the dark ball than that. But if you have a vampire and a bleed ball, you're at fast speed. You have a vampire and a bleed ball. You probably need to get rid of them because neither of them are doing a lot for you. Okay, next is Virus. Applies 1 stack of disease to units it hits. Max 8 stacks. Disease lasts for 6 seconds. Each stack disease deals 3 to 6 damage per second. And these units have 50% chance of passing a stack to undiseased nearby enemies each second. So if it lasts for 6 seconds, there's a good chance you're going to, if you pass 1 stack, there's a pretty good chance. I'm not a mathematician, so you have a pretty good chance of passing this to everything near it, or to like many things near each one. So like, you're gonna spread the disease around pretty good, and it does okay damage. Like 6 times 3 it does moderately okay damage. This is not as good as Noxious. It's not as good as Lightning Rod. It doesn't do the debuff of. We'll go ahead and just drop this. Like, no, I mean, like right here. It's probably just similar to like the Inferno. Just kind of like you hit some stuff with it. It does some damage. It does less damage to the immediate area than the Inferno does, but it's not going to spread around. It can spread around and maybe do more damage total. So we'll just leave it. We'll put it right there. Next is Voluptuous Egg Sac. Explodes to 2 to 3 egg sacs on hitting. Has a 3-second cooldown. I mean, like if you're doing baby balls, this is really super good. Like, you're just gonna split into like several. You're just gonna get a ton of baby balls from this every time you shoot it out. But if you're buffing your baby balls and putting curse on things so that the baby balls hits can help proc curse, this is gonna be very good for you. It's not obviously as nearly as good as Maggot. Probably. We're just gonna go ahead and we'll put this at the top of B tier. Seems fine. And last on the list here, but definitely not least, is Wraith. This passes through things. It doesn't say it does. Oh no. Freezes enemy, it passes through. It does say it does. For 0.8 seconds. Since it has pass through, you just aim this on an extreme angle to the side and just send this back and forth through the whole enemy wave and just freezing everything. It does okay damage. Like the damage on it's fine. It's an improvement upon, it's an improvement upon the balls you're fusing and using to fuse it, which are Freeze and Ghost, which are basically 2 of the lowest damage balls in the game. But this does pretty good damage considering the AoE and the pass through, and then it slows everything down drastically. So I think that this is probably, we're gonna drop this up here in S tier, probably right behind the Phantom and probably in front of the Storm. It's not as nearly as high damage as the Storm, but it's going to give you a lot more utility with the slowdown, I think. This is how I feel about, like I said, this is not taking into consideration what they morph into or how they interact with other things. This is just the value that ball has as one ball by itself without further merging. This is where I'm going to leave everything for now. I think it looks pretty solid to me. Let me know what you think. This is just my opinion, and I'm kind of skewing this towards like, you're early on in a 9-speed run. Are you going to feel okay turning 2 balls into this at that time? You know what I mean? Like, so, yeah, like the value you can get in that moment from that 1 ball is how I'm grading these. So keep that in mind. But let me know what you think, and I hope everyone has a great day.